Phillip Enriquez here, and before I begin, I have to start by saying I've been a hardcore Dallas Cowboys fan since 1992. And also, I've been a big Tony Romo fan since 2004. Now, the hottest debate in the NFL today is the who should be the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Is it Dak Prescott or is it Tony Romo? What's Jerry Jones going to do? What's Jason Garrett thinking? What's Stephen Jones going to say? Who's going to start in Week 10? These questions are being bounced around in talk radio here and there. And you know what? I've been going back and forth with the rest of you guys. Sometimes I think Dak should be the starting quarterback. Other times I think Tony Romo would be better in this situation. But I came across one interesting question in my head, and this thought's been stuck all day long, and I needed to talk. I needed to talk with you guys about it. And that's this. Do the Dallas Cowboys owe Tony Romo the opportunity to become the starting quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys again? And you think, wait a second, this is the NFL. This is where the big boys play. There are no rules. Nobody owes anybody anything. And I do subscribe to that line of thinking. But there are the exceptions, and Tony Romo may be one of them. Let me explain. Who was the one, Cowboys Nation, that got into Jerry Jones' ear many years ago, stating to him, I need an offensive line if we are going to have any playoff success? If you guys recall, Tony Romo came onto the scene in 2006 and his first full year starting in 2007 and made the playoffs. In those years, he had a good offensive line. We had a Pro Bowl guard in Leonard Davis. We had a Pro Bowl right tackle in Mark Colombo. We had a Pro Bowl left tackle in Flozell Adams. And we had decent guards and a decent center. Andre Gerard actually went on to become a Pro Bowl player, I believe, in 2007. And when he had those teams and he had that line, we were in the playoffs. Then something happened. The offensive line got old in around 2008, and they fell off, and we missed the playoffs. 2009, they got a little older, but once 10 hit, those players were out the door. And so it's always bothered me. It's really, really struck a nerve with me when my own fellow Cowboys fans, some of my best friends, have said, Tony Romo sucks. Get him out of here. I hear things like he doesn't have it. What is it? Can you describe it to me? Because obviously I must be missing it, just like Tony Romo is apparently. But back to the point. Here's the thing. Those years, those 2010, 2011, 2012, 13 seasons where we were going 8-8 and missing the playoffs in the final week of the season. It's Romo's fault, right? That's all I heard. But let's just dig a little deeper into that for a second. If you remember, you guys had a starting center by the name of Phil Costa, who was known more for being the future son-in-law of Hulk Hogan rather than what he was doing on the field. And you had guards that were undrafted. Guys like Bill Nagy were starting on that offensive line. And yet Tony Romo had us at 8-8. That's amazing. He was the only thing going good with the team. But yet he's the only one that got the blame. And I never understood that. But now you guys are probably saying, wait a second. But that's all ancient history. We got Dak Prescott now. He's 4-1. He has it. It's magic. We're going to go to the Super Bowl. But let's think about that. He is awesome. And the only reason I'm having this discussion, and I'm going back and forth in my own head admittingly, is because he does look like a great young quarterback, protecting the ball, staying ahead of the chains. He is what we need. But yet, do the Cowboys not owe Tony Romo that one last opportunity with all the things he's given us? If you remember, a few years back, I believe it was 2012 season, if I'm not mistaken, and against the Niners when we fell behind, and he played with not just broken ribs, but a punctured lung. And he came back. He told John Kitna, sit down. The Dallas Cowboys need me. I'm going to go win this game. And he completed that pass to Jesse Hawley. Yes, Mr. Fourth and Long himself set up Dan Bailey for the winning field goal. Cowboys Nation, how fast do you guys forget that? And I'm going to say one thing, and it doesn't make me happy to say this, but they say Dallas Cowboys fans have great memories. And we must, right? Because we remember all those Super Bowls that were 20 plus years ago, and we remember those well. Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, Jay Novacek. All you guys remember that, right? But nobody remembers 2003 when an undrafted free agent was impressing in the preseason. Nobody remembers those quarterbacks that were starting then. Nobody remembers that he turned that season around in 2006 when Drew Bledsoe was throwing picks in the end zone and Tony Romo led us back into the playoffs. He's done it. He's sacrificed blood, sweat, and tears. He's one of the toughest players I've ever had the privilege of watching. And yeah, maybe we don't know him after all. But after what I'm giving you, this information, this reminder to Cowboys Nation, if you guys are right, and just so happen to be right, that Tony Romo's injury prone and he's on his last legs, well, that may be true. In fact, I believe that's true. But here's the deal. Why has he been so injury prone? Look at all the hits he's taken for us throughout the years and all the wins he's delivered hurt. Don't we owe him just one last chance? And if you guys are right and he does get hurt in the first or second game back, then guess what? You're getting your wish, because he's probably retiring or getting cut, and Dak Prescott will not only be the future, but the present. But at least all questions will have been answered. All opportunities would have been given. You have to close the other door before you can open the other one. So Dallas Cowboys Nation, I'm just asking you, before we proclaim Dak the starter against the Philadelphia Eagles after the bye, let's just think, if maybe, just maybe, Tony Romo has what it takes with this team to take us far and deep into the playoffs for a good playoff run.